Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with my friend, Bruce Curdy.
Hey Bruce. David. How are you doing tonight?
I'm really good. I really enjoyed that game. I mean, it was whoever lost that game, it's kind of like you're out. There's so little room for error in this playoff race. And it is a playoff race at this point. The Oilers have what? Is that 4 in a row?
Yes, sir.
The Oilers are hanging in barely. You know, there's 15 games. Is that it now? 15 games 15 to
go. Left.
And they're 7 points back, but they have a game in hand. So there's not a lot of room for margin for error here, obviously. But the Canucks really took it on the shins tonight. I mean, they're gonna you just can't get back as far as they are now, and can't fall off the pace. But the Oilers are barely hanging in there, but they are hanging in there. And that was a really hard fought and necessary win, 3-2 over the Vancouver Canucks. Good for the Oilers. And this is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast, Bruce. Let's start with my good thing, because I think it kind of sets up the game a bit.
Go for it.
It was the pace that the Oilers played with in getting that 3-0 lead. Bruce, I don't think I've actually seen them play that way. It reminded me of the way they played in 2017 in the playoffs and leading into the playoffs. Just the way they were, the pace which they were moving the puck, the speed Draisaitl was moving at, other players were moving at. The Oilers didn't look like a slow team. They have looked like a slow team all year long, pretty much, except the exceptional game. In that spurt, that was full value on that 3-0 lead. They just were flying out there. And, I attribute it to the return of Sekera to the lineup and Clefbaum to the lineup. It makes me wonder, of course, it's kind of bittersweet to see them play that way, because we've been missing these 2 pretty solid, pretty good puck-moving defensemen in one way or another for the last 2 years, and missing their full value at least. So fantastic to see. I thought it was really exciting and augurs well for the future of the Oilers if they could stay healthy and or develop more defensemen who can move the puck like that, which is a real possibility with Bear, Caleb Jones, and Bouchard in the system. That's my good thing. What's yours, or do you have a comment on that one?
Oh, my good thing is kind of riffing off that. The second Edmonton goal, that cemented the lead at 2-0.
Oh, what a goal!
And that was a play where we saw both the superstars, Draisaitl and McDavid, at the top of their form. The puck just kind of came loose down the wing, and Leon was on the far wing, like he was near on the near side from the camera's perspective, and the puck was down the far boards, and he just put the burners on. And after he took about 2 strides, it was obvious that he was going to win the race to the puck, and he just went barreling down over there, won that race, gained possession inside the blue line, and then all he did was make like about a 1 or 2 foot pass to McDavid, who came up the wing, and then of course Connor drove in towards the net and made the perfect pass onto the tape of Kassian, who did what he was supposed to do, which is just go hard for the net front and keep a stick on the ice, old-fashioned hockey. Hope that the puck gets there at the same time you do, and sure enough, and he just jammed her home. 4 goals in 4 games for Kassian, and a lot of it's just by doing that, by trying to get open and trying to let go of the puck quickly when he gets to him, wherever he happens to be. And that time he was right on the lip of the crease. But just superior plays and passes by both Draisaitl and McDavid, and in both cases, their speed and skating ability, the Canucks just couldn't contain him on that sequence.
Yeah, for a big part of the night, at least, the Oilers had both McDavid and Draisaitl going. And speaking of Draisaitl, I mean, the Oilers' top center right now played 23-32 to McDavid's 21-53. Draisaitl, he has not only been driving his own line, Bruce, he's been driving the team in this winning streak, and what a fantastic thing to see. and a necessary kind of development for the Edmonton Oilers in terms of becoming a team that can make the playoffs. So just fantastic, and that really was what a great play! What a fantastic play! It was straight out of 1984 for the Edmonton Oilers. What was your bad thing?
Well, my bad thing was kind of how they played after they got the 3-0 lead. When they started to get a little bit loose with the puck.
Yeah, I felt that way too. Yeah,
too many cross ice passes in the offensive zone. Too many sort of half plays and turnovers in the middle of the ice. Battles not won, and if they gave up one odd man rush in the second period, I bet they gave up 6. And that, just forwards caught deep, defensemen out of position, soft play with the puck, and Vancouver's flying the other way. And Vancouver can play with pace too. They're a fast club, and they were really catching Oilers flat-footed a few times. And I will say Edmonton made some good emergency plays to stop some of those 2-on-1s, and Koskinen made a couple of good, solid saves. I mean, credit to Milan Lucic of all people for a great busting his ass back check to break up one. I think it was a 4-on-2 that time. And Chris Russell made a terrific sliding play to stop it down low 2-on-1 that looked like it was going to be a tap in for the guy at the edge of the crease. And, there was some hero plays, but the structure and the discipline. I mean, when you have a 3-0 lead, what in the hell is Adam Larson doing behind the other team's net? And what in the hell is he thinking passing it back to the right defenseman when he's the right defenseman? Geez. Hello?
Is that the one that Don Cherry says is the worst lead in hockey?
Yeah.
Yes, it can be, man. Because they get one and you just feel them like, oh God, like the other teams, they turn cautious. And yeah, so that was we essentially have the same bad thing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're not. I think you picked it first, honestly. But no, you were going to go with all the 2-on-1s.
Yeah.
But anyway, my bad thing is the turning of the tide in the game. And so specifically, Vancouver had 7 grade A chances after that. The Oilers only had 2 the rest of the game. Now, to give the Oilers credit, Bruce, Vancouver did not have a grade A chance in the final 11 minutes of the game that I saw. So they were able at that. They something happened where it clicked in. I mean, he really shortened the bench. Ken Hitchcock did, but something happened in those final 10 minutes where the Oilers got their senses about them again and started to play more disciplined hockey, which was really, really necessary, obviously. And, it's tempting to, like, neither of us named our bad thing that kind of horrendous goal against by Koskinen, but he outplayed the other goalie this game. Vancouver had 10 grade A chances to 7 for the Oilers. They were the more dangerous team on the attack in the end, but it was Koskinen who got the edge on his counterpart of the Vancouver net. So good for Mikko. He's become, boy, what a relief this is, because he's starting to play like a passable NHL starting goalie, and we certainly needed to see that, because right after he signed his contract, he had a real bare patch. He had a real bare patch kind of from
before that.
From December through January, but he is now playing well again. And Bruce, to give the Oilers credit, and this partly has to do with the weird turtle race that is ongoing, but they are in meaningful games in March. And I think one of the things that I really hoped to see at the start of the season was in the last weeks of March, the Oilers in meaningful games, at least up until then. And we're gonna probably see that now. It doesn't have to do with the Oilers being as good as I hoped they would be, but good for them. They're hanging in there and battling away. What's your number?
Well, I got 6 and 7. They were at 6s and 7s for some of the night, as the soccer commentators like to say, but these are from their secondary stats columns. 6 is a very high number for giveaways, and especially high for takeaways. Tonight we had 6 giveaways from one Connor McDavid.
Ooh.
And we had 6 takeaways from one Tobias Reeder, who had a very strong game. Like he was catching my eye all night for battling on the boards and busting his hump And I mean, he had like one shot, two hits. He's never going to score, but if he plays like that, he can play on my team. He was working, and he was one of the few Oilers winning battles for a large segment of the game, especially along the walls. I thought Vancouver was just seemed to be owning possession along the walls and along the blue lines. And Reeder with his 6 takeaways, and then just the tip of the hat to old Chris Russell, Warhorse Chris Russell, and his 7 block shots in this game. At least two,
Holy moly.
at least two of which were significantly important in the context. I mean, this is Chris Russell. Just going for numbers. For Corsi, shot attempts is 12-4, 26 against. In other words, he's defending in his own zone way too much. But for actual shots on net, Chris Russell, 9-4, 10 against. So for all that they had all these shot attempts, the shots weren't getting through on net, and a big part of the reason was he was blocking a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So I personally put more stock in shots on goal than I do on Corsi. I know I'm not necessarily in the majority on that, but
well, I put my stock in scoring chances and
goals. Yeah, I mean,
and goals.
It's a pyramid, and goals
Yeah.
are well,
At the top of that. Wins are at the top, and then goals, and then scoring chances, and then no. Russell did make 2 major mistakes on scoring chances again, so that's not a great night for a D man, but it's not horrific. Yeah, Chris Russell, and to get back to Reeder, I agree with you, Bruce. You know, I don't mind him as a fourth line guy because he kills penalties well, and excuse me, he hustles. I just don't want to see him in the top 3 lines anymore. He's not. I did a little summary today. Maybe just let me call this up on scoring chance shots, where I was looking at which forwards are creating the most scoring chance shots. Mm-hmm. And there's 3 players who are playing regularly who are significantly below everybody else in terms of scoring chance shots per 15 minutes of even strength time. They're Milan Lucic, Kyle Brodziak, and Tobias Reeder. And if you see any of those, I mean, it's clear to me that the Oilers coaches have been way too enamored with Milan Lucic for one reason or another the last 2 years and have way overplayed him. I mean, he's played more even strength minutes Bruce than any other winger, full-time winger on the Edmonton Oilers. You can't have that kind of ice time going to a guy who hardly ever is able to get off a scoring chance shot, yet he's out there constantly. And my number two, and I was writing tonight, like because the lines, I guess, yesterday in practice had Lucic on the second line with Draisaitl, and that's what was expected going into tonight's game. So I wrote a post this morning saying, "Come on, like you got to play Gagne there. He's got the hot hand right now in terms of getting scoring chance shots, you know, and obviously Chason and Draisaitl are all good at that, and Curry and Colby Cave are also have good numbers there. Ty Ratty does as well, but Reeder, Brodziak, and Lucic, they just create almost zilch on the attack. There's no reason, there's no excuse to have them on one of the top 3 lines, and certainly not in the top 6. So good to see that they went with Gagne on that Draisaitl line. And my number tonight. Your post, eh? Yeah, I doubt it. I think that so my number tonight is Lucic's time on ice, 8:38. Now, I don't think he was hurt. I just think Hitchcock he benched a number of players essentially, or gave them really limited ice time in the third period.
2 shifts for him and Curry.
Yeah, and Brodziak played little, Kara played little. And the coach was desperate to win that game. Like he understood, I think, that this was an elimination game for one of these 2 teams. Because they're both so far behind the 8 ball. You can't get further behind the 8 ball. After a while, it just gets ridiculous. And so he really limited the ice time. And Lucic should be playing about 8 to 10 minutes a game at this point. He should not be playing more than that. And the coach got it right tonight. So that's my number. Alrighty.
My big number is 3-2. And that's, of course, the score line from the game. They sure didn't make it easy on themselves. Holy moly. Like, you'd think they'd be home and cooled out against a team playing the second of back-to-back, but I got to give Vancouver credit. You know, they easily could have bailed on that game, and they just didn't. They hung around and were tenacious and got themselves back in the hockey game.
Well, look at Troy Stetcher's ice time, 26:50.
Look at Alex Edler's ice time, 29 minutes.
9:25. Wow, he is
25.
leaning.
He played 27 minutes last night in Vancouver. He's like almost 33-year-old.
It's like when
And he
Clefbaum at the start of the year with McClellan. I remember those. Like
played
yesterday.
almost an hour in back-to-back games in two cities, and you got to you got to admire that for all that they're Vancouver. Credit where due. So he had two monster games. Alex
Scored a
Edler.
goal, eh? That got
the winner in
deflected.
overtime last night, and then he got credited again with one tonight. And
I thought the guy in front of the net actually touched that puck. I guess I'm wrong.
he hit Koskinen's glove, but the refs just apparently said there was no contact, which I don't know. Koskinen's glove just got bad. It was like the old Corey Perry play. What do I say to Corey? But on the glove hand instead of the blocker. And
well, the Corey Perry play was way worse.
The call went the same way. He just took out Koskinen's glove. I'm not sure he would have saved it, but he had no chance to save it. But whatever. It's a crapshoot.
Yeah. So, Bruce, do you know the schedule? You always know the schedule.
Yeah, Fridays. Where are we? This Thursday, Saturday, Monday. Wednesday, a 4-game homestand. They play the Leafs. 5 p.m. on Saturday. We have the early start time so that the Oilers as a home team can enjoy the jet lag while Toronto plays in their normal time slot.
So they got the Leafs, the Rangers, and the Devils coming up. They got to win. Obviously, they got to win 2 out of 3 of those, and hopefully 3 out of 3. But 2 out of 3 is an absolute necessity. Probably 3 out of 3 though to make up any ground.
It'd be nice to beat frickin' Toronto.
They can beat Toronto. They're due to beat Toronto, so I think they'll beat Toronto, and then they'll beat the Rangers and New Jersey. And then they'll beat Arizona, and then they'll beat Vegas. Hey, you're going to be at the Vegas game, Bruce.
I'm going to the Rangers game and the Vegas game in Vegas. That'll be exciting.
That will be exciting. That'll be fun. I've never been to Las Vegas. Have you been there?
Me either.
We're like the only 2 people in Edmonton who've never been to Las Vegas.
I never had a hockey team until recently, and I frankly, the other attractions of Vegas don't really attract me all that much. But
I'd love to see the architecture and the bright lights and all of that stuff in a few shows. If I went to Vegas, I would not go to a hockey game. Like that. Honestly, Bruce, if I go to an American city, the last thing on earth I want to do is go to a hockey game. Like we are the mecca of hockey. Edmonton is hockey. I don't want to go to some rinky-dink, quiet, boring American arena.
I think it'll be anything but. And where you see bright lights, I see light pollution. So I'm not sure how much I'm going to enjoy the bright lights of Vegas, but other than knowing I'm like 1,000 miles away from it or whatever it is.
You still haven't gotten over that light the bridge thing, have you, man? You're still.
I actually don't mind the bridge. I'm really worried about what they're going to do with that Stantec Tower, though.
First, this is it's the one it's a city. Cities are supposed to be bright and lit, are they not? Yeah. This is the one place in all the dark expanse of the world. This is our place.
Tokyo, we're not Las Vegas. So anyway.
Well, we never discuss politics, Bruce. Let's not.
This isn't politics. This is astronomy.
Okay, this is your specialty. Well, you're on stronger ground than I am. All right. Let's leave it there. Thanks for talking tonight, Bruce.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast. All righty.